Good morning. I'm Dick Wagner. Welcome to the Crest Network regular Tuesday morning webinar. This one is presented by me, Dick Wagner, and it is a two-part series on the idea of sales differentiation. It was a pretty big presentation, so I broke it into two because I really didn't think people wanted to sit here for 2 or 3 hours listening to this. So we're going to dive right in to part one. Next month, I will be presenting part two of sales differentiation. My motivation is that I believe sales differentiation is critical to your success. If you're going to be out in the sales world, you have to separate yourself. You have to be perceived as, thought of, and act and speak and look different than every other sales marketer that is walking in the door of that insurance agent or plumber or hotel or nursing home. Too often, and I hear this a lot when I'm out teaching at contractors' locations, and I ask them, what makes you different? What makes you unique? What makes you so special that you really believe you have differentiation? And amazingly, I get comments like, well, our company's the best in town. Or they really drive it down a little more personal, and they kind of spread their hands out and say, well, our people are the best. What you just said there is that every other person at every other company is not the best. In fact, maybe you're even implying that they're the worst. Now, it's certainly possible that's true, but I would be more inclined to believe that they're really not the worst. They're just not you. Sometimes I get answers like, well, our equipment is better, as the old standard joke. Well, we just bought the Super Sucker 5000. Really, come on. Equipment doesn't make your company the best. And although processes are crucial to having logical steps and checklists and so forth, processes alone don't make you the best. And in fact, salespeople will often, when somebody says, so what makes you so great? What about your company that's so special? Often those salespeople say, well, we're the best. And when they say we're the best, they're hurting themselves because they're not in a position to say that they or their company is the best. Salespeople think and believe that if they say we're the best, that strengthens their sales position. The reality is that it tears it down. It hurts your credibility. It would be no different than if one of you watching this webinar said, I'm the best. I'm the best marketer. I'm the best salesperson. I'm the best restoration guy. First off, if you're saying it and you're saying it about yourself, we call that bragging. And most people don't embrace your bragging. So get out of the habit of answering, we're the best. It's a fatal comment that hurts you far more than it strengthens your position. Too often the salespeople just simply believe, well, this is endearing myself to my client. Yeah, I don't think so. Nobody, not one marketer out there, when someone says, so what makes you so special or so great, or why should I do business with you? Nobody says, oh, well, you should do business with my company because we're average. How's your kid in school? How good is he? Is he smart? No, he's just average. Is your kid, does he do great in school? Nah, he does pretty good. Nobody wants to hear average or pretty good or typical or, well, our company's pretty standard. Our company's pretty similar to every other restoration company in town. Not one of you listening to this webinar would ever say that. It's an embarrassment. And if you're not going to say that, and you're not going to say you're the best, whoa, now comes the big question. What can you say? What should you say? Whatever you say must be proven. If you can't prove it absolutely positively, then you should not say it. And first off, let's be clear here. What your competitors say, it's very, very possible that your competitors are saying the same thing. We're the best. We're the best. And now you come along and say, we're the best. We're the best. Neither of you can prove it, at least by just saying it. You can't prove it that way. But here are some really cool ways that you can engage with the client and elevate or raise your credibility. The client says to you, that insurance agent or that plumber says, so why should I use your company? What's so great? What's good about you guys? The perfect answer is, well, thanks for asking. I'm not going to tell you how our service is the best. I'm not going to tell you how our people are the best. I'm not going to tell you about how great our equipment is or that we have special IICRC certifications. Because, I know you get a lot of salespeople in your office, and probably everybody says that same bogus line. So I'm not going to say that. What I do want to say is I'll tell you some of the differences in our services that our clients find extremely valuable. And then, you know what? You can decide for yourself. I'm not going to force feed you to believe something that everybody brags about and nobody can prove. If you think about it, that's being different. That's selling differentiation. Mrs. Jones, Mr. Plumber, Mrs. Insurance Agent, I'll tell you some of the differences in our service. These are differences that our clients find quite valuable. And I'm hoping then that you decide for yourself. And now, folks, be prepared to have that list memorized. Be prepared to have in your head those 3 or 4 very specific differences that our clients find valuable. For example, the insurance agent refers you on a water loss. You go and handle the water loss. You get the job done, you do it well, everybody's happy, and now you immediately send a thank you gift, box of candy, cookies, one of those fruit bouquets, a gift card to Starbucks, whatever it is, you do that and send that to the end user, that policyholder customer, but you send it on behalf of the insurance agent. Yeah, don't take credit for it, at least not right out of the gate. Send that saying, I hope you have some semblance of normalcy now. We hope that you have your life back. We're so sorry that this happened. Please enjoy this $10 Starbucks gift card when you get an opportunity, or please enjoy the bouquet of flowers or the fresh fruit or the box of candy. That's one of those differences that you could offer, and you could tell your plumber or your agent that kind of information, that's what you do. That's a big deal. And when you do talk about differences, one of the most powerful, and a whole separate webinar, in fact, there's a short video on it on the Crest Network's website, talking about that very concept of being unusual, being different, offering things that your competitors can't or don't or won't offer. That information, there's just a ton of information on the website. Be sure to log in and start watching some of those videos. One of the things that I just told you about was that you can't say you're the best, because you don't have the right to say that, because you absolutely don't know. You don't know how good your competitor is. Of course, you hear anecdotal information. You hear of the customer that says those guys are jerks. Don't trust them. They're terrible. They don't know what they're doing. But the fact is, somebody's going to give them a 5-star review and love them. And so you can't say you're the best, because it's very likely that clients that your competitor has done work for have also said that. So there's only one person that can say your company is the best. Water extraction team is the best. Reset Restoration is the best. Cleaner and Dryer is the best. Jimmy Garza Restoration is the best. The only one that can say that is the customer. Yes, the insurance agent can say it, because their policyholder that you worked for probably said it to them. Your plumber can say that. Oh, you guys are the best. You're the best. And I'm sure you've heard that comment before. What you need to do is go out of your way to convince your client, your policyholder, your customer that you are the best by demonstrating it. And when you demonstrate it properly, they'll say it for you. They'll say it in the form of a 5-star review. They'll say it to the plumber that referred you. They'll say it to the insurance agent that sent you the job. That's when you're the best really has the clout and the power to achieve something. And companies absolutely do not buy anything. Might be the money they use, but the purchasing agent or the end user or the homeowner or that actual insurance agent that sent you the loss, they're the ones that are doing the buying or the referring. State Farm Insurance Agency is not buying your business. They are not buying what you have to sell. They are buying only at the level of the insurance agent or the CSR, the customer service rep might be doing the buying or the referring, but the company is not. People buy things. People refer to you. So, we've harped for 20 years, more than that actually, on the whole concept of relationship marketing. And too often I hear marketers that say, oh my gosh, I am so excited, I'm going to make some friends. Well, that insurance agent or that plumber's not looking for a friend, but they are looking for a company that will be the very best that they can be to make a hero out of the agent, to make a hero out of the plumber. You are never the hero. You should not be the hero. If you're the hero, then you're making it all about you and your agent or your plumber, your homeowner that you're doing the work for. It's really about them. So always approach your client from the concept that they are the hero, not you. And when you do that, you have really created differentiation, because the sad part about this is that so many marketers, so many restoration salespeople, so many companies go out there and try to make themselves the hero. They put on their cape, they put on the t-shirt with a giant S in front of you, and they think they're Superman or Superwoman, and they come to the rescue. And I've seen websites with the Superman logo on it, and they say right on their website, we can be your hero, we will come to your rescue. That's bogus. You cannot and should not take credit for being the hero. Differentiation is when you make the buyer the hero. And how do you make the buyer the hero? By them realizing they made the right decision to hire you or to refer you. Why don't you need to be the hero? Real easy. Because according to a recent survey, this was done in 2019, 3/4 of those buyers that you come in contact with, 3/4 or 75% of those buyers do their research online before they talk with a salesperson or a marketer. 75%. 75 out of 100 people that you engage with check you out. They go on to Google and they check you out. They know a little bit about your company. In fact, they might know a lot about your company, but they might know about your products. They might know your services. They might know your salespeople. Maybe your picture and your bio is on the website. 75% will do their research before they even engage with a salesperson. And the other amazing statistic, and this is a whole separate topic, and I'm not going to delve into it today, but 71% of buyers choose the very first salesperson, insert the word marketer, who adds legitimate value and insight to whatever they're bringing to the table. 71%. So how do you bring that value and that insight? Again, it's a whole separate web series or a whole separate topic, but let me give you the single word that you should be researching and checking out, and it's called edutainment, EDU hyphen TAINMENT, edutainment. It's a combination of education, which buyers desperately want, and entertainment, which we also enjoy. And so we have learned that since certainly the mid 2020 or the mid 2010, 2015, people like edutainment. They like to be entertained while they're learning some good information. So I encourage you to certainly watch the video about edutainment, but do your own research, do your own homework, Google edutainment and read about it and learn how you can impart edutainment into your website, into your marketing materials, and into your presentations. The fact is, sales differentiation converts what the buyer's intrigued about into action. But it's even bigger than that. When you convert buyer intrigue into buyer action, they buy from you at your price. In other words, price is no longer an issue with a client, or it is no longer certainly the top 10 issues if you bring sales differentiation. There's a really big difference in selling something and letting them whack down the price, negotiate, beat you down on the price, or get the price that you want. And right up front, the better you are at sales differentiation, the better you are at separating yourself and helping that client see that you're different, you're unique, you're unusual, and that translates ultimately into, wow, you guys are really special. I want to do business with you. Suddenly, price isn't the number one issue. When price is an issue and the consumer, your customer, continually harps on or beats you up about price, 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 it should be an instant red flag for you. You should see it waving in the air, and what it means is you have failed to demonstrate to that client that you're special, that you're unique, that you're unusual, that you're different, which all translates into, yes, you're better. And when you're better, we want to pay the price you charge because I want better. I don't buy my clothes at Walmart. Would they cover me? Absolutely. But I will pay more because I want better. That's the differentiator. Let's be absolutely clear. In your attempt to differentiate, it will not work if you try to differentiate yourself after the fact. In other words, if you're busy selling blah, 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 we're the greatest, we're the best, we've got the best equipment, our people are the best, they're awesome, our owner is just such an awesome, cool, wonderful guy, that isn't differentiating yourself, that's just bragging. And and then they say to you, well, what makes you different? Now you are on the defensive. Please don't get on the defensive. Being on the defensive almost assures that you're going to lose. It's far better to put that differentiation, whatever makes you different, say it, tell it, talk about it, show it right up front as quickly and as soon as possible, because after the fact, you're going to be defensive. It's going to be perceived and believed that the fact that you're being defensive, and that kills your credibility. So I'm going to repeat it. Let's drive this into your head. You can't ever be too early, too soon, talking about your differentiation, which you absolutely can come across being defensive or telling your differentiation story too late in the game. Asking questions and still struggling. You know, I do a lot of coaching, and the marketers I have had from time to time say, you know, I'm trying to demonstrate differentiation. I talk about some of the unique, truly unique things about our company. I even incorporate real life personal stories into my presentation because I know people love stories and can remember stories. Well, the short answer is, if you're still not able to demonstrate to your policyholder, your client, your agent, your plumber, what differentiation is with you and your company, then the fact is you're asking simply the wrong questions. There is available on the website, and I have sent out to some of you a series of, I think there are 18 or 20 open-ended questions that you can ask your client, and they're specific questions that enable you to learn key things about your client so that now you have legitimate differentiating talking points. Get really good at asking good questions, open-ended questions, questions that start with who or why or where or how or what. I skipped the word why, and there's a whole different reason for that. And the word why and why you should skip it, again, it's another video on the Crest members website. I thought this was very interesting, the way a tomato vendor or a company marketing their tomatoes even to the public, even through a grocery store. This particular company has found a way to create something unique that differentiates their tomatoes from other competitors. What they've done is, yeah, okay, there's sweet 100s. Little cherry tomatoes are called sweet 100s. They're in the mix. Green Envy tomatoes are in the mix. You can see them there, the little green ones. There's 2 or 3 of them on there. The yellow ones are sometimes called Sun Gold. But you know what? The vendor or the tomato company that sells them to the grocery store put them all in one package. And now, what do they call them? Candyland. That's differentiation. Buy our Candyland tomatoes. That's a great way to separate. That's a great way to differentiate. Another company that's selling tomatoes right in the same produce aisle at the grocery store calls theirs Chef's Choice. Wow, we all want to use the tomatoes that are the chef's choice. Those have to be the best. Or if you're looking for little tomatoes for your salad, oh my goodness, I want Candyland tomatoes. It conjures up this vision in your head. We all like candy, and we like red candies and green candies and yellow candies. So Candyland is about being unique. It's about being different in a very unique way. Don't just be unique, be different. And I don't mean different by wearing a different outfit than your other marketer. I get a chuckle out of looking at this. How many times in your life, and it's happened to me, where you're out, you're with your wife, and you're at an event, and lo and behold, someone else is wearing the exact same dress. Many times I have, in my travels and teaching, I have seen somebody else in the audience wearing the exact same shirt that I was wearing. And I chuckled because that means they paid $29.95 at JCPenney's also for it. But that isn't the point here. The point is that if you don't have differentiation, and yes, I've said the word differentiation 100 times so far in this webinar. If you don't have it, let it sink in. Lowest price wins. And if you're one of those companies that wants to always get or sell or offer the lowest possible price, I am so sorry for you, because you know what's going to happen? You're not going to be around. You're not going to survive being the lowest priced company in town. And yeah, you might surprise and you might or survive, and you might be surprised that you last a year or two or three. Ultimately, lowest price wins, and then the company goes out of business. So think about creating differentiation just so you can command the price that you need to command. Different approach for different decision makers is also critical. When I teach marketers how to call on hotels, there is a common core. Yeah, they all work in a hotel. They also may have another common core. Their pain is similar. They don't want to have a water damage incident that screws up the availability of a room, a guest room, or 2, or 10, or 50. Why? Because when those rooms are flooded, they can't be rented. And when they can't be rented, there's lost revenue. And that lost revenue never comes back. Never. So you have to approach your decision makers or decision influencers in a different way. How you approach and what you say to and what matters to a hotel GM is different than a nursing home director, which is different than the owner of a daycare center, which is different than the trustees in a church. Each one of them has different pain points, different issues, and they need a different approach from you. And let's dig just a little bit deeper into the weeds here, folks. The approach that you use successfully with the general manager of a hotel is not the same approach that you can use for the head of maintenance of that same hotel. The pain that the general manager has is different than the pain that the hotel maintenance guy has. So please remember that in your offering of differentiation, make sure that you have different approaches for the different types or kinds of influencers. And now it comes down to interpretation. The common mistake or mistakes that so many marketers use today is that they tell the truth about something. I'll give you an example. Our company has 15 trucks on the road. Might be an absolutely true statement. You know what happens when the homeowner or when the recipient of that comment, insurance agent, a plumber, it doesn't matter who, when you tell them our company has 15 trucks on the road, there are two possible routes or scenarios that they take. One is, wow, these guys are killing it. I can count on them because they got a lot of trucks. I'll bet they can help me out. Sadly, they don't go that route. They always go the negative. They interpret your statement. Unless you give clear, explicit explanation of or reason for that comment, our company has 15 trucks on the road, the standard default that everyone goes to is 15 trucks. Oh my gosh, they must be a pretty good sized company. Holy cow, I'll bet you they are expensive. Oh man, I don't want to hire them because I don't want expensive. They have maintenance costs, they have payroll costs, they have equipment purchasing costs. Oh boy. No, I'm going to go with the one man in a truck company. The reason that they choose the one man in the truck when you're bragging, and rightfully so, about the fact or telling the truth that you have 15 trucks on the road, the reason is you didn't give proper context. You didn't explain why that was important to your client. Context, or the explanation, if you will, context is what helps them immediately understand the positive value of your statement, and then they do not default to the negative. You don't want them defaulting to the negative, because if they do, you lose. Simple as that. Never leave your differentiation up to interpretation. If you're going to brag about your IICRC certifications that every technician has, by all means do that. But when you do, you better immediately follow it up with, and in my preference is to set the stage ahead of time by telling them what the IICRC is, how it works, why it matters, and then say, that's why all of our technicians are IICRC certified. That's clarifying, that's giving them the interpretation right up front, rather than letting it roll around in their imagination and end up being negative. Folks, you that are listening or you that are watching this, you alone are responsible for presenting differentiation. It's up to you to figure out what are your differentiators. I'll be working with each of you as a coach in the future, talking about ways that you individually can present and offer differentiation. And then we'll talk about why that matters. But please understand, it absolutely matters. I wanted to bring differentiation to you so that you can know what you're selling, so that you can present what you're selling. And in the next part, the next segment, which is coming in about 30 days or 28 days, is the part 2. Today you learned what you sell. Next month, we're going to learn how you sell. We're going to really dig down into the weeds and learn that, understand that. You will hate me by the time it's all said and done. But differentiation, I'm harping on it. Please embrace it. Google it, learn it, understand it. You can do it. Absolutely. I'm Dick Wagner. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next month. Bye-bye.